All right, hello, welcome to the weather update. First day of July. We'll talk about June, overall averages for June. But first, let's get to what's going on right now. And you can see a whole bunch of thunderstorms blowing up upstate. And we had some thunderstorms over our area earlier today, too, as well. We'll talk about that as well. You can see them here on the satellite, all that bright white there. And then you can see also all the lightning here, too, from them as well. Let's look at them on the radar right now, and you can see here that you can see there's like a whole line here, and this is all associated with a slow-moving cold front, which will bring us the chance for some of that tomorrow. But first, let's take a look at what happened earlier today. We did actually have some thunderstorms over our area. We roll this back to around 4 o'clock. You can see a couple of them popped up over central Jersey here, and you can see a couple. There's one here, here. This is 5 o'clock. And then there was one that actually got a warning in New York Harbor. This is around 5:40 p.m. And that kind of just went along the South Shore, like right along the beaches there. This is 6:40 p.m. All right, it looked like this was going to pass off to the south. But then what wound up happening was a couple of other cells popped right north of the cells. This is 7 o'clock here. And you can see here, there it is. There it is. So this actually produced a downpour that kind of went along the South Shore a little bit. So yeah, it was interesting how that kind of held together there for that. You know, the HRRR actually predicted this, which is actually pretty good when you think about it. Actually, pretty good. So let's go and talk about our high temperatures for the day, and then we'll go over the month. I guess first we'll go to the high temperatures for the day, and this is what the Weather Service had posted here. Newark, 98. Central Park, 91. LaGuardia Airport, 93. And look at how hot it was in those areas. Meanwhile, JFK Airport was 85. Islip was 83. Bridgeport, 86. All right? And we'll go to the map, too, as well. But let's first let's get this over with here. June 2022. At Islip, average temperature was 69 degrees. Departure from normal, none. So no departure from normal. It was actually normal at Islip, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. Rainfall was, everybody was pretty much below normal. Islip was 1.19 inches below normal. And though we had a lot of days where we had rain, it just wasn't very heavy. We didn't have that many thunderstorms. You can see the highest temperatures were in New Jersey. And that is where the temperatures were above normal, actually. Newark was 1.7 degrees above normal for the month. JFK was 0.1 degrees above normal. LaGuardia was 1.1 degrees below normal. Central Park was 0.6 degrees below normal. And Bridgeport was 0.8 below normal. So, again, Jersey actually wound up being a lot hotter than everybody else. There, look at Newark with the average temperature of 74.4. Whereas JFK had an average temperature of 70.3. LaGuardia had an average temperature of 72.3. As far as precipitation goes, everybody was fairly below normal with precipitation. So despite all those days where we had rain, June was abnormally dry, and every site had a monthly rainfall total that was at least 0.60 below normal. Yeah, this is a great summary from the Weather Service. This way we don't have to go into the whole thing and look at that, though I might wind up doing that another night. But we have to talk about the storms and all this active weather that we're going to deal with in the next 24 hours or so. And let's now look at our current conditions outside right now. And you can see temperatures outside are 75, 75, 77 in Carl Place. A little cooler on the South Shore with low 70s, but it is those dew points that are making it really oppressive. Dew point of 70 degrees at Islip right now. So you can see 75 with a dew point of 70 at Islip. South-southwest wind at 15, gusting to 21. That's why I passed on the fireworks show tonight at Eisenhower Park, because I knew that it was just going to be too steamy to be there. And if you think that's bad, well, it's even worse in the alley. Let's look at the alley temperature. It's 80 degrees in the alley. Boy, I'll tell you, I could feel the temperature rise as I walked toward my neighborhood tonight. You can see these dew points are pretty high here. Dew points in the upper 60s to around 70. Really tropical humidity out there. And I'm sure it's just as bad in Jersey. Dew point near 69 there as well. And it's still 80 degrees at Lakehurst. Hey, so it's just as hot as at Lakehurst as it is in my alley right now. So let's look at what the day was like at Islip. And it was much, much worse over Jersey, which is what we're gonna see. But we're gonna first look at the day at Islip, and you'll see here, it wasn't too bad. Low 80s, pretty decent sea breeze. But this is the dew point column here. Dew points were actually above 70 for a good part of the day, so very, very humid conditions out there. But not too bad over there. Whereas you look at somewhere like Green Tree Foundation, which is in Manhasset, on the North Shore, and you can see there, it got up to near 90 degrees there. So, yeah, this is probably typical of what we kind of dealt with in Mineola. The dew points were a little higher, too, 76, 75. And then they dropped a little, still 79 there. So, yeah, they're holding on to the heat as well. So, that's what it's like, again, in the middle of the island here. It's the North Shore, Nassau County particularly, really just holds on to the heat. This humidity. And we never got that rain either that they got on the South Shore either. But it could be worse. Let's go into the Devil's Lair, into Jersey right now, and we'll take a look and see what they got there, a.k.a. hell, of course. Let's see what it was like over there. Yeah, they were in the 90s. Look at that. 93 at Miller Air Park, west of Toms River. Dew point around 70, so a lot hotter there for most of the day. Really brutal over there compared to Long Island. Really, really brutal. And even if you get the very limited sea breeze, maybe if you're right at the shore, you got some effect. But other than that, pretty brutal out there. Let's see what how North Merrick did today. North Merrick got into the upper 80s too, 87. Looks like 87. They peaked at around 4 o'clock at 87 there. So not quite as bad as the northern part of Nassau, which is very hot. So let's put the highs on the map here. Might as well map them out. And we'll first start with Long Island. You'll see a lot cooler out east. There was more of a sea breeze. You can see, especially West Hampton, didn't even make it to 80. But as you head further west, you can see it's showing a 92 in Carl Place. I think it got close to 90 around here. 89 in Manhasset. 88 in Brookville. 88 in Syosset. 86, even in Belmore, 86, Massapequa Park, 79. So out east, cooler because, again, there's more of a cooling fetch over, a longer fetch over the ocean to keep it even cooler. If you're on the Forks, you're only at upper 70s. And then the city, look at that, LaGuardia, 95, 90 at Central Park, 84 at JFK. And then it's Jersey. It's really where it's really bad, really, really bad over in Jersey. We got mid-90s throughout much of Bergen County. And then as we go down into the Jersey Shore area in Toms River, you see here 92 in downtown Toms River. Actually not 92, but that 92 lasted longer. And then 93 at Miller Air Park, 92 at Miller Air at that thing. But this can be a little misleading because, again, on Long Island generally, once you got to after 4 or 5 o'clock, the temperatures dropped. In Jersey, they did not. It stayed warm because, again, the wind is over the land. And Connecticut, I'm sure it was pretty warm there as well. You don't really get a sea breeze in Connecticut. Well, they get maybe a breeze off the Sound, but doesn't really provide that much relief. Still near 90 in a lot of those areas. So let's now go and look at what the sky looked like today, because I'll show you what we had that passing storm to the south. So this is what it looked like in Belmar around 6:15 with that storm passing off to the south. And then then there was the other cell that developed. This one, again, is the one that was over. This was the second one that popped that was over New York Harbor. You can see a really, this was impressive. This was definitely a severe thunderstorm. And then I decided, you know what, there's a nice breeze. Let me go and take a walk around Massapequa Lake. I got off the train, and then this cloud was greeting me in Massapequa here. And I thought, oh, this is just a cumulus congestus cloud. But what wound up happening was we got to the lake, and then this cloud just got even darker. And here it is here. And here is another. Hang on, let me get to another picture of it here. And then you can see this dark cloud here building. So what wound up happening was you could see that dark cloud right there. Building. And so what wound up happening is once I walked from Massapequa to the Massapequa Park Station, and then we started getting some rain falling, and there was some, rumbles of thunder. And I have a video of it. You'll see in the video. But you can see we definitely had some downpours. Here you go. It was kind of coming down there for a little bit. So yeah, it was a good rain shower on the South Shore. You can see it's kind of like what it looked like. So we're gonna next go to the Wunderground site, and we're gonna look at the precipitation, which will show us where the rain fell. These very isolated showers, but very localized, but still very interesting, nonetheless. So you can see. Now, it was very interesting, too. Once you got west of Newark, the ground was dry because no rain fell there. But if you go east of there, this is where that second cell popped up, right around Belmore, 0.05, 0.15 in Seaford, 0.14 in Massa. Not a huge amount of rain, but, it was a shower, and if you were out in it, you would have gotten soaked. You can see, though, where that rain fell. But compared to Jersey, where these storms were stronger, if we go and we... go into New Jersey, let's see what they got over there. Still not that much, only 0.11 there. So yeah, not a whole lot of rain with these. Just enough to wet the ground. Maybe a quarter of an inch, worst case scenario here. Parts of like central Jersey. But other than that, not really that much rain to speak of with these. Now, the next weather thing we got to look at. Go to the Hurricane Center, because we have these two areas we're still watching here with disturbance. But this is Bonnie, Tropical Storm Bonnie. Max sustained winds 45 miles an hour. I'm not going to go over a long update here. But luckily, it is toward the lower end, so it's not that intense of a storm. But it is moving west at 15 knots, or 17 miles an hour, so it's moving quickly. It's actually probably going to cross over and emerge into the Pacific, which is pretty interesting. But let's get to tomorrow's weather, because we have to worry now about severe thunderstorms. So let's go to the day 2 convective outlook, and we are now in a slight risk. You see the yellow right there over us. Long Island, much of New Jersey, Connecticut, pretty much the whole I-95 corridor in the northeast to the mid-Atlantic is at a slight risk of severe thunderstorms tomorrow. So we do have that risk for some severe thunderstorms tomorrow, and there are some conditions that are favorable for it we're going to actually look at right now. So let's go to the models here. And we will show you again what is happening. So here's that high. We have the slow-moving cold front coming through tomorrow, and then it pushes to the south, and we get improving weather for Sunday. And then July 4th also looks nice. But the issue is when we look at the actual front, let's go to the HRRR here. This kind of shows you what I'm talking about. So here's the HRRR, and it is a slow-moving cold front. But you can see there's a little bit of a kink in the isobars. That's what we've got to be concerned about. It's a little bit of one. But given the amount of humidity in the air that we have and the amount of lift, we're going to have to really be careful. So it's showing some scattered activity in the morning. The more impressive activity comes in the afternoon, which, of course, is the prime time for the afternoon and evening hours. This is like 5, 6 o'clock. You can see some thunderstorms getting going there, and right now it looks like it's going to hit Jersey very hard around 8, 9 o'clock there off to the south. But we'll have to watch to see any scattered if any of that activity comes over Long Island. Of course, this is a model, but it does move off to the south on Sunday. All right, so if we look at the dew points here, it kind of shows you where the cold front is. You see we got that southwest wind tomorrow still in those tropical dew points. And we're still going to be dealing with them. And there's going to be a really strong breeze tomorrow, too, from the southwest. But you can see these drier air starting to bleed in here. But this model seems to be a little slower now at the front. And it really doesn't bring the dry air in until around sunrise Sunday. And then finally we see the dew point. But look at that. It actually seems to get hung up just to the south. This is the HRRR. So if you believe the HRRR, Long Island will have nice, comfortable dew points. But if you're in Long Island can have dew points in the upper 40s and low 50s. But if you're in Jersey and, say, Toms River, you could be dealing with dew points still around 70. So it looks like this front might get hung up. At least this is the way the HRRR is doing it, which, again, if the front is slower moving, then the chance for severe weather is less. All right, but there are different models to look at. Let me go to the temperature forecast, and you can see tomorrow it's another hot one again. Long Island will be very similar temperatures to today, the HRRR seems to think. If you're in Jersey, you're going to be dealing with 90s again, mid-90s. So if you're on Long Island, mid to upper 80s. And then for your Sunday, it still is pretty warm, mid 80s on Long Island, maybe even some upper 80s Jersey too. So yeah, it's not going to cool down that much according to this HRRR model. Now let me go and look at the other model here. We'll put this back to the the precipitation view, and we're going to look at the NAM model now. Now I only have 19. Yeah, this is I don't have enough of the zeros in. So let's go and look at the 18Z run. We can see the NAM here, and it's not showing much activity at all. And again, it's slow with the front. Doesn't bring the thunderstorms and showers through until the evening hours. And then kind of just seems like it does seem to be a little slower moving this front. It is offshore, but you can see it. Look, almost trying to form a little wave along it there off to the south. But with this kind of setup here, again, it's also going to be slow getting that dry air in and also getting rid of the clouds. So we'll go and look at the cloud view here, and you'll see tomorrow we'll have plenty of clouds, more than today. But with that front kind of getting hung up to the south there, maybe we clear out the clouds by the late morning, early afternoons, particularly on Long Island. It does seem to clear out the clouds for us on Long Island by the afternoon, at least, later in the afternoon. So, and the AM seems to be a little more progressive with moving that front offshore. Now, don't really see any huge thunderstorm activity in this. Let's go to the GFS now. That'll be the next model we'll look at dew points only. And you see, again, they seem to be all agreeing with the slower movement of this front. But it does improve by Sunday afternoon. That's the thing. But there are other features that we got to look at. So you get an idea of what it looks like with the models. It doesn't look like a really defined line because, again, the front is moving slow, and that's the problem. You need a front with a good movement to really create a good solid line of thunderstorms, and we're not getting that this time. Again, because, again, we don't have the kind of jet streams we used to have because of climate change. So let's go to the thunderstorm now forecast. We're going to move this over to Saturday, and we'll go and we'll start looking at the Cape levels. And you can see they are elevated here on the North Shore in Jersey. There's 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, really good Cape levels here. So anything that does form, we could have scattered severe thunderstorms. Here's 5 o'clock here. All right, and you can see also there's a pretty strong southerly component to the wind as well. If we go and we look at wind gusts, you can see some really strong wind gusts tomorrow. So that will have a tendency to keep the temperatures on Long Island cooler. Whereas if you're in Jersey, you're going to be baking. Again, if we look at the actual temperatures here, you'll see as we move this toward 3, you'll see the difference. It still is pretty warm on Long Island, though. But if you're in Jersey, you're really going to be dying. So you got to keep an eye on that. That's where it's really going to be rough. All right. But again, this thunderstorm threat, we're going to have to watch it for tomorrow. Storm Prediction Center put us in a slight risk. It's really hard, to go by the models because the models have a hard time. But I'll say the HRRR did a good job today predicting where those showers formed today. So we'll give them that. And like I said, if you go to the HRRR here and look at your precipitation, again, if the HRRR is correct, much of your day tomorrow should be dry, maybe a couple of showers in the late morning hours, and then it won't really pop up again until like the evening, like say 5, 6 o'clock, and then we'll have to worry about the thunderstorms. But it looks like it's having most of the activity over Jersey, and again that would make sense because that's where it will be hotter. But we'll have to watch for this because the conditions are favorable for that kind of weather. So let me go to the GFS. Let me go to the GFS now. And so this front does move to the south, and then we'll have that fair weather for Monday. And we'll go and look at your highs for Monday, July 4th. And you will see here that you can see here Sunday, it definitely has us cooler. And then for Monday, temperatures start rising again a little bit more. If we look at our dew points here, winds we still have an onshore flow, but the dew points are low. Dew points are in the 50s generally, so it's comfortable according to the GFS. Let me go to the RGM next. We'll look at the skies, and then we'll wrap this weather update up. Let's go look at those skies. So for tomorrow, you'll see there'll be plenty of clouds around, but there could be breaks of sun. It won't be completely overcast. There'll be breaks of sun, which could help add to the instability. And then we clear these clouds out. Hopefully by like 1, 2 o'clock, I think they're completely gone off Long Island. And we'll have a clear afternoon. Looks like it's what's that? Looks like it's trying to develop. Is that a thunderstorm? Is that a thunderstorm? No. What that is? It's just it's a Q buildup, I guess. What it is. It's interesting. And then as you head into Monday, we'll be dealing with some more of the cirrus, but a little bit of cirrus, but it still won't be a bad day at all. So rest of the weekend's good. It's just tomorrow. It's going to be a little unsettled as we did, and it's going to be very humid. So you definitely don't want to be outside. Humidity is very, oh boy, it's disgusting out there. But that's going to wrap up this weather update. Have a good night. Thanks for watching.